Well, it's called Jurema in Mexico and Brazil. It's a tree. And in Peru, they call it bubanzana. And it's often an admixture. It's a very popular admixture in ayahuasca, and it brings a dreamy quality to your experience, a very soft, feminine yin quality. And it does have a very distinct sweet smell. But the Syrian rue also has a sweet smell. And that was also in that brew. So.
Other questions, folks? Please go to the...
Yeah, one more question about Datura that I don't think I...
Did you have another question on Datura?
No.
No. Any other questions, somebody? Again, we're not here recommending you do anything, but I do want to say part of understanding mushrooms and eating mushrooms is to kind of understand the full life of mushrooms. And I think one of the reasons why at this conference we like to explore it all is because there seems to be this ban on anybody really exploring these things. We have to understand that people do misuse things. I think tobacco is such a powerful herb. I grew up in a family where both of my parents smoked, and I have a huge aversion to smoke, to nicotine smoke. And yet I have done ceremony using a peace pipe in which I didn't have an aversion, I had a curiosity. And I still have this sort of kind of back and forth now with nicotine and tobacco because it's attractive for ritual, but I find it really obnoxious to smell it anywhere in the real world. You had a question?
Hi, I was wondering if you could describe what Curandaro is. You just talked more about shaman. What exactly is Curandaro? And every society, or most societies, have had access to a shaman or a Curandaro, but Americans don't have. We don't have somebody to go to for these matters. We have priests. Maybe talk about the revival of how America can be more. How shamans can appear in America. I'm not sure what I'm asking, but where can we go as a country that doesn't have these roots per se?
Okay. Well, one of the things Obama is going to solve all our problems. One of the things that's interesting that I hear with this reform of our medical system is to pay doctors to keep us healthy. And that same shaman I talk about in South America who works with ayahuasca and people come to him with their problems and such, he says, Miguel, I don't charge until they get well. Only when they get well do I get paid. Therefore, I'm really anxious to fix these people and get them right. And that, I know that's a model in Chinese medicine, and apparently the major problem with Western medicine right now is they get paid to do as much as possible to check what's wrong with you and then to fix you. The worse you are, the more money there is. So that's one aspect of that. Yeah, that a little bit back to that Iquitos conference was that word shaman. It's Liz, and yet we've gone to that straight and narrow path straight to the drugstore, and to hang out with beautiful people like these guys, to know what kind of medicine they're doing and what they knew about medicine, and to just really look at that. And these are your curanderos up here, you know, and part of the trick is to, we talk about that, get like Michael's saying, is to get young people here, get people interested in going to South America. I'm always amazed at beautiful young people who I see traveling in South America trying to learn this stuff. I think the curanderos are going to be popping out of here pretty soon, you know, popping into this world, being trained, haven't been trained actually in tribal traditions in South America, because you go down there and there are young people, even old geezers like myself and Art, who are learning this work, learning that curanderismo. And it doesn't have to be the psychedelic aspect of it. That certainly draws the customers, you know, but just a real knowing plants. I mean, when I first hung out in the Shipibo village with this little family, we'd take a walk in the woods, and these little 3-4-year-old kids would tug on me and they say, Miguel, they call me Miguel Uno, Miguel, bueno, para... They start to explain what a plant was for. They just show me a plant, because their grandmother was walking with us, she was showing us plants. But even the little kids would know plants and have to share it. And one of the big things I got out of there is how much a sharing culture that is. That's what makes that work. That old tribal culture, like that's all shared wisdom. Nobody's the wise guy. It's all shared, all the way up through the culture. And that's my ideal of spiritual revival, is to start sharing, man.